things for Xiaohu in the mid lane that can have that roam potential and be that big, more of an impact in the early stages.
And it's looking like a bit of a different look here as well. So Armut, I think very likely we're going to see Aatrox out of him. Fiora is a champion that Brave will actually play and just turbo stomps Aatrox in lane. So first ban there. It seems like every team in the world is pretty much willing to first pick Aatrox. But going for LeBlanc now as well against Xiaohu. Before it's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of Kalista, a lot of Caitlyn. Sejuani was another band that Mad Lions were putting on. So there is the Caitlyn indeed. Aatrox Kalista is a first pick fork.
I would actually argue for Mad Lions take the Aatrox. Gala doesn't play Kalista.
Right.
Like, it's one of the big problems that we saw in that meta shift that we saw at the end of summer, and it's why the RNG struggled so much. So I think if you are RNG here, could easily be a Kalista ban here just to make sure that you are set up, but actually going to prioritize the Maokai. So yeah, I'd say Aatrox here for Armut. You're more than likely going to be able to get that Kalista next rotation. The only big question here is the Silas for me. Nisqy's been very good on the Silas and really likes to pick that one up early, so maybe we see that come through, but quick picks here for RNG.
Yeah, Jax is the answer. To reinforce your point about not really playing Kalista, he has 12 total games in his career of 400. Yeah. Like, Gala, I guess technically, you know, 2.5% of the time has played Kalista. Technically he's 8-4 in the pick, but like it's Zeri, who's like a year old, still has more picks than Kalista. This man has played through many Kalista metas. Yeah, not one for him. So, as you're kind of mentioning here, right, this is wise to leave it unbanned because it's not likely to be a pick here. Taliyah, a very common early pick. Indeed, Nisqy's most played of summer. That's going to be locked in. Yeah, you could flex at jungle, but Elyoya hasn't played it, so that seems very unlikely. It means he can go run to Armut or can go run to Unforgiven and get him ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Elyoya decides to go with in the jungle, though, because, again, I mean, you've already limited your options with Graves gone, Maokai gone. Now the opportunity to take a jungler here has been taken away for Elyoya, so I think Elyoya is going to struggle a little bit because I imagine that's where RNG are going to prioritize, but I like that they're taking the Kaisa away. Gala has been well-renowned for his Kaisa ability, one of his best actually honestly his best champion, and one that he's picked up a fair few pentakills on, so I like that they're kind of taking that one away and saying, right, Gala, well, what do you have in the tank here to actually bring to the table?
I kind of like this, actually, picking the answering one early on RNG, seemingly saying, well, Jax can dive in, we can support him, but also, Nisqy does some stuff, I'll get the wave, you'll lose one, and then I'll still answer your bot lane or top lane roam with the Galio ulti, so I like this as the counter answer. I think it does make a lot of sense. Galio into the heavy roamers, just on a long cooldown.
I think, though, for Mad Lions, you take away something like the Aphelios, you take away the Ezreal, and, I mean, you could even leave the Ezreal because Kaiser does so well into it, but if you just want to remove everything that kind of has been there for Gala, because then you actually start to teeter into, well, I mean, his Jinxes, his Ares, his Zippers aren't great, but like overall, you've kind of just eliminated his champion pool unless he goes back towards the Nile, and we saw exactly how that went yesterday. So, yeah, especially, you do have a little bit of extra damage there with the Graves and Jax to try and facilitate the Neela pick, but overall, I don't feel like it's the best pick.
So they hit Tristana here. Xayah is my sort of sense for it right now. What's going to be likely locked in as I can get away from Xayah, or I can get away from you know, if like Kaisa dies to me, I can jump away. If I get caught out by a Taliyah combo, I can jump away. I can get away from Aatrox, Q3, things like that. There's probably going to be an engaged support here for Kaiser. It's almost all that he plays down there, so that's kind of my expectation of a self-sustaining AD carry. As Poppy and Vi go away of some of the, you know, scary junglers that are available. Indeed, there's the Xayah ban.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to end up seeing Elyoya going back towards something like the Xin Zhao or something along those lines, just something that can have a little bit of early presence and try and facilitate like a 2v2 scenario for Elyoya in that mid lane. Because it feels really like you need to get control of the mid lane here for Nisqy so you can have impact on side lanes. But as I was saying, I mean, misfortune there. I think the Aphelios could also be a good one here for Gala. Yeah, they're just going to go towards that, and that's now you've got two great late game scaling carries in both the Jax and the Aphelios, and that's not even mentioning way on the Graves from jungle. So it feels like RNG have definitely taken their lessons and their learnings fairly hard yesterday, but they've definitely learned from them.
Yep, his one of his highest win rate champions, Aphelios, is second most played across his career. Just a game behind Tristana for highest win rate of any champ with more than like 10 games played. Is definitely been exceptional on the Aphelios. Late game insurance seems to be his play style. As Kaiser comes through with a Trundle. He'll raise it to 8 games since MSI. And I mean, again, another champion who can have a lot of early pressure here. Obviously going to want to kind of sync up with Taliyah and knock stuff down.
It does feel for Mad, though, you need to get off the bat early. I mean, if you end up falling behind, you just got no hope.
Shots to Philios Galio,
Yeah, exactly. So it's not going to be pretty. So if a huge amount of this is going to rely on that mid jungle for Elyoya and Nisqy getting like level 2 ganks, level 3 ganks, getting this Galio put behind, and then using that influence to try and help out on side lanes, and particularly towards Unforgiven in the spot side. But if you end up having a slow pace of game, if RNG get to kind of control the tempo, I'm very worried for what MAD Lions can actually do to break this.
Well, I want to see what happens in the early game then. We've got engaged for both supports here. Kaiser and Ming have been last picked for their respective champions. Interesting in this World Championship, so many of the drafts are going just in pick order because everyone's prioritizing, like there's a ton of Aatrox first pick, so okay, we're getting top lane right away. And then red side's always picking top lane answer on 1-2. And it's like, well, now we need junglers. And then you really want to get your mid laner on 3, it feels like. So many games have very, very few trades. In this case, yeah, the Trundle was swapped around, but we had it pretty much in order for RNG again.
I also think it's just because look at the amount of AD carries that are banned, and you're still like, no, these are good AD carries.
Exactly.
These are meta AD carries. So it definitely feels like we're starting to see for once that there's not like a top 2, top 3 AD carry pool that you need to get early.
Yeah, the only asterisk there is I would say Kalista, but in this exact game it's not. But yeah, the Kalista's banned, and it's like, oh yeah, we'll just pick it on 5. Like, it's whatever. And I love that, right? I'm always happy when it's like either if there's an S tier just banned and you have like a wide variety, or there is no S tier and yeah, you kind of do whatever. It's kind of interesting. The roles that are picked on 4 or 5 are almost always like the healthiest champion pool, where it's like there's not really one we have to rush for, so it's fine. Aatrox is the one who's skewing everything, where every team is like picking Aatrox on blue 1. We'll see if that gets developed. We saw the Fiora ban required for it. We saw that Breeze is having to play Jackson's like, that's cool, we're gonna do that one instead. Looks good against DRX. The game didn't go so well, but the 1v1 looked fine, so we'll see. Breeze gets to try it yet again. We are on to the Rift. MAD Lions and Royal never give up doing battle. The 2-0 LEC. This league is undefeated so far at the World Championship play-in. RNG had an arguably upset loss to DRX, but now in the second game, another team they're, I think on paper, favored against here in MAD Lions.
Just curious, I was just looking there because Waze actually started with the slowing smite here, which is a bit of an interesting one because usually you'd see him go for the red smite, so you can actually take a little bit more of the aggressive trades. But I mean, it should help him buy a little bit of space against people like Elyoya, but definitely the dueling potential going to be missing a little bit from Way here, and should help him out a little bit on the ganks too. But RNG just sticking around in River here. Looks like they might try and go for a little bit of a late invade here, but MAD Lions are ready for it, so they just decide to walk back.
Yeah, choosing the kiting option. Of course, he's gone fleet here as well. We've seen even some players have been increasingly going ghost, and not only on bot lane marksman, but also the junglers, like Graves here as well. So choosing, no, I want to make sure that I am away from the Aatrox. I can get away from Nisqy's fling. I can get away from Trundle, and it's like, as long as I'm far enough back, I'm just going to win if you can't hit me. So seemingly choosing that option for it instead of the scrapping power, the kiting power. I think it logically makes sense when you're against a pretty melee-heavy team.
I will say, though, this is the, like, composition from RNG that I thought we would see them play, and what I'm most nervous for a team playing against RNG. You've got Xiaohu back onto pure comfort with the Galio. He was incredible in this, even back in spring when they made it over towards MSI. This was a big pick for Xiaohu, and being able to control the early map. We saw a bunch of bans even against it at MSI. You're getting Ming back on towards these engaged champs. The Nautilus not going to be taken here because it's by Kaiser, but Ming happy to play the Leona into it. Like, this is more the style that I thought RNG would go for, and I'm glad we're kind of getting them now, reading the meta, at least correctly, or at least more correctly than we saw yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm down for coming in, right? I think Neela really could have made sense. I think she actually is favored in Tristana, for example, and played around, you know, that kind of style. But yeah, took a high-risk comp, right? Tried to get ahead on DRX, didn't quite work at the end of the day. So yeah, another back on much more conventionally team fighting. The Jax still does seem to work. That is one part that I will give them credit for, right? They're like, yeah, you can have the Aatrox. The most prized, the only 100% presence champion at the World Championship is Aatrox, and they're like, yeah, Breeze will just answer it. It's fine. And it worked in game 1. We'll see if it works here in game 2. Got early pressure. And that is always cool to see, right? Like, there are parts of the meta where you're like, oh no, we're just ready for that.
Nisqy using the Unraveled Earth, trying to bait Xiaohu.
Yeah, Pillar, not bad. And now Xiaohu's in a pretty rough spot. Can try to flash if needed, but Ghost may just be enough. Just running at breakneck speed. We know the Pillar's still on cooldown and he gets away. The shorter of the cooldowns is burned, and now a fight to the bottom side. Quick cleanse for Unforgiven, 300 health left on him. And Ming, ignited, will stay alive. He'll have to recall out of this one most likely, but maybe stays with potions instead.
So overall at the moment, at least from mid lane, I mean, nice job from Mad Lions. We called Elyoya saying, look, you need to make early plays in towards this mid lane, and Nisqy being smart with throwing down the Unraveled Earth, so Xiaohu thought he was safe to push up. Just unfortunate they couldn't get it to amount to anything, but Gala and Ming getting that advantage on the bot side. This is what I was saying for Nisqy. He needs to be the one that tries to influence this bot lane matchup, try and unlock Kaiser as well from that bot lane so he can help out on these roams. It feels like it's such a pivotal part of the map in this game specifically.
We can look at what's been happening since then. So Elyoya, he made an early gank into the mid lane, and the top Scuttle's gonna be able to go over Graves as a result. Now, of course, bottom Scuttle had gone the way of Mad Lions anyway, so I really can't say the first pass has gone too bad for Trundle. Able to affect the lanes and still keep his farm pretty much tied. And it looks like we're gonna have Way skip his first recall and go back to the respawn of Krug to the top side. So gonna keep that one going. A pretty similar spot for the Trundle, it looks like, who is just covering the bottom lane. Is there anything spicy going on? The wards die. He's got himself into the brush right behind Kaiser, and this lane is pushing. So will there be a play? Ming is basically in range of him right now. This is straight up fightable. Graves is nowhere around. I think legit,
yeah,
they could have maybe just taken that fight. I'm not sure if Trundle dies with a wave like that, but maybe.
I mean, even just burn summoner spells, right? Like, you have, like, if you can get that summoner spell off of Ming, makes that level 6 a little bit easier for Unforgiven, who had to burn his cleanse in that last engagement, just anything to get that going. And it's a little bit of wasted time for Elyoya, but Elyoya needs to get the ball rolling early because he's running out of time here. Graves already getting that big CS.
Looking pretty nice. Gets the recall up a camp and has his way towards the straight of Dirk. Looks like he's going to be going for ward killing, and Elyoya might get the top side. Breathe. He's still going to be in range to be pillared, and so indeed has to flash it. It makes Elyoya waste as much time as possible running towards the top side of the lane, but it was always going to be caught out there. Way, and the bottom side is going to be able to deny a wave away from Mad Lions. We've already seen one recall out of Unforgiven from the level 2 all-in, and has himself a cull from that. Drops a little bit of the wave in bot lane as a result of this.
I mean, look, a nice read from Nisqy, right? He didn't want to overextend, didn't see where Xiaohu was, and didn't want to end up walking straight into the Galio, especially when Wei can come over the wall. But Elyoya is doing his job here. Like, he wants to try and get in towards lanes, make sure that everyone on RNG is a bit uncomfortable, because he is going to get out-scouted. Like, this Trundle needs to get the ball rolling early, and at the moment, at least he's getting that flash gun on the top side, making things a little bit easier for Armut. He just needs to see that repeat, especially with Nisqy now hitting level 6 in the mid lane. Potential with the wave frozen here for Armut on that top side for them to try and make something happen.
The wave just kind of traded back and forth. A small CS lead for Nisqy. We'll see when he first gets himself onto this side of the map. Gala does have flash up right now, but otherwise his champion, even if you build a Gale Force, does not have tools to beat Weaver's wall. So Nisqy can always set up for a gank on bot side. Round 1 is going to be force of flash. Round 2 is a death. I want to see if he can get down there, because that feels like you can certainly track with Kaiser and Unforgiven following up. It feels like a killable lane. Nice fling back onto Ming. He's going to be fine.
He finds Elyoya.
Yeah, Juggler is trapping. Level 5 eats Raider Dirk versus Sheen. No damage out of Elyoya, but he's like, you know, I've got a pillar, I've got smite, and I've got a teammates here in my jungle, so I'm gonna get me a scuttle crab.
I like the roam from Ming to mid though. We were already saying, look, Nisqy has the opportunity to try and roam to sides here if he can get the push. So Ming showing up in mid means that Xiaohu gets to go that little bit more aggressive. They don't know where Wei is, so they have to take it a bit slow. And now we kind of moved our dual lane to the mid lane because they understand how important this mid priority is, especially when Xiaohu hadn't hit the level 6 yet. But now, at least with Xiaohu having access to that ultimate, he can try and follow some of these Nisqy plays.
Wave is slow pushing down to the bottom side, so Gala gonna run out of room to play this lane pretty soon. If Kaiser gets onto him, he's basically just dying. Maybe flash a hook, I suppose, but level 6 here, gets the wave in, has to respect Nautilus, otherwise he actually could be frozen on him, we'll see. We're 30 seconds away from the Herald spawning, and that means often both junglers, both supports, trying to make their way to that side of the map and try to find your way into a 4v3 or something. Wave is gone. Nisqy want to reset. I don't believe... Well, that's pretty close to last chapter money, actually. He's been farming pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think you really want to go for an early contest here for Mad Lions on towards the Riftchild. I think early skirmishing on this top side just belongs to RNG. They've so much AoE CC, not like Xiaohu, Counter-Strike, good damage from Wei. Ming will have access to that solar flare soon enough as well. So I think overall, Mad should just try and back away from this and maybe make a play elsewhere, but looks like they're going to try and contest. I just don't think they have the damage right now from the Kaisa or the Taliyah to really match them.
AD carries walking up. Nisqy is here with the last chapter, plus Boots 1 with his recall. All the AD carries, as I said, coming up, and here's the team fight already. First blood! Wei claims it! And we got more going on here. Kaisa joins the fight. They trade back on the Xiaohu, and it's continuing on. Armut's in the front line. He's already got himself a kill. 1-1 on the scoreline. Ulti comes through for Gala. The Herald resets, though there is a slight difference. Shelly's just so tanky that RNG may not claim the objective. Fling's gonna land the stuns there. And Wei's gotta be so careful. The rocks don't deal damage blowing up anymore, and he still feels reasonably safe. Gala's still putting out damage in the backside.
RNG are just buying time, so though Xiaohu is reset now. He's going to be able to come out with ultimate, but looks like they are a bit nervous with how low Wei had gone. So Mad Lions will manage to get a kill back and force RNG off the rip.
Beautifully done by Mad Lions. End of the day, they get the Herald, and though you lose the first blood bonus gold, still a 1-for-1 fight. They decided that they had enough time to let Nisqy recall to show up in the fight in time, and they were right. So the scoreboard right now says 500 gold to RNG, but you're gonna get a few hundred back when the Herald finally charges.
Yeah, and then look, at the beginning of this, it's great from RNG. They turn immediately onto Elyoya and burst him down, but they all end up in this tight little choke point, which is perfect for Armut. Gala isn't really in a great position, and they managed to kill Xiaohu before he gets the ultimate off, so not able to use that big access to the zone control, that CC that we're talking about into this fight. Riftchild resetting is so unfortunate as well.
Yeah.
Means that it's just a disaster for RNG after that initial pick.
Yeah, just out of patience, honestly. You even saw the eye pop plus the smite. It was like, sorry, bud. It's already running back and healing up 10,000 health a second, so not a kill to be had. RNG playing now for the Dragon, though, instead. They've got the Emerald Glaive on, so first completed item is through here for Wei. And not all of its gold efficiency is in actual combat stats, but it's good enough that RNG have control, and they will be able to get themselves the Drake. This is the kind of game, you know, that I wanted to see. You know, there's still a 1 in the front when you get the first Dragon kill, so RNG start that stacking, but Mad Lions get a bit of damage to the mid. Probably just the 1 plate. You don't want to summon... Oh, they actually do go to summon the Herald. I guess they don't think they have a better time to get plates than now. Mid lane will go down to about 2,000 health, but they will not get more than the one they worked down and the 2 afterwards. A lot of damage here. Nisqy just locked up, and Wei again finds the ulti over the top to get that kill. Kaiser a bit low, no flash available. Gonna get hit with the end of the line. And Nux Zenith Blade should be soon. He's gonna land it on a Kaiser, and Wei should get yet another a 3-0 Graves.
Wei is getting huge in the jungle, and it's just RNG finding these nice timing windows to pick up Dragon before Mad Lions have established themselves in mid lane to use the Rift Herald, and then good turnaround as well with Xiaohu just barely clipping onto Nisqy with the taunt. Gala as well, 2 plates in the bot side. I mean, we thought that it was going to be Mad Lions getting the advantages off the Rift Herald, but suddenly it's RNG who found themselves 1,500 gold.
I just like Xiaohu's build. He's rushed Sork Shoes. He had it since the last fight as well, but not only do I care about move speed on Galio, because of course you do, you have to land a melee range taunt, but he's like, yeah, my job is burst. Like, he could have gone Merc Treads. He could have gone, I guess, cooldown boots for more. I was like, no. I'm going to burst him at 10%, and then Wei will just claim his kill and stack up no problem. I love it. It's worked out, honestly. The Herald has charged, and guess what? The gold lead is 1,800 already for RNG.
And it just feels like a cheat code for Wei when you've got Xiaohu as your mid laner. Like, you get to play Graves, and you're just like, okay, cool. I've got one of the best mid laners in the world at trying to facilitate your teammates, and it's just so easy then to set things up. Now going to go up towards that Eclipse as well. He's going to be dealing a ton of damage in this game. And again, like, this mid jungle is kind of the bridge to that later point in the game, right? You still have Gala who's scaling. You still have Bridge who's going to be terrifying in the later portion of the game, even if he is slipping slightly behind in CS to Armut at this early stage.
Wave goes down yet again, and RNG don't have any objective to play for. There are turret plates up for another 2 minutes, but if the waves are defended, nothing really happens here. AD carry is still scrapping in the bottom side. Gala doesn't get a whole lot done there. It gets to chunk Unforgiven down the other half is refillable potion. Cole still stacking up for this Kaisa, but still mostly just waiting around. Ooh, bottom scuttle's up. All right, get over there.
Yeah, Mad Lions are trying to cut off RNG from getting access to this bot wave. You can see Gala had already built up that wave, so Mad Lions trying to beat them to the punch on this bot side. Might actually catch Gala, but now you can see RNG moving in, so Xiaohu moves back in towards mid lane, and you almost get the turret plate anyway as Gala, and the fact that you're controlling this just path in between mid and bot means that it's really difficult for Mad Lions to really do particularly much, because even if you end up trying to engage on bot side with a numbers advantage, Xiaohu has ult to join in.
So 3 turret plates work down to the bottom lane. 0 have been claimed for Unforgiven down there. So Gala, not only is he up 30 CS in a mostly undisturbed lane, they both roamed to Herald. They both, I guess, looked at Dragon die, but ultimately Gala has been crushing this lane overall. plates and CS. Breathe now fighting Armut, and that is a lot of damage down CS, but got some pressure. Ming's gonna get a friend coming across. The stuns just keep landing, and Kaiser will certainly die away on a rampage. 4 in a row for him.
And now you just get to move back towards the turret. Gala will get more plates. And RNG, this is what we're talking about. Just bullying Mad Lions off their bot lane turret, knowing that they're stronger at the moment with this massive Graves from the jungle.
The best feeling ever is 610 gold, which means I got solo first turret and solo the plate. Oh, I am rich. That was a functional double kill by autoing that turret. He's got so much.
He's only 300 gold behind the Graves. Like, that tells you how much gold Gala has right now.
5 plates in a turret or 4 kills. You know, either one. 960 extra money right there on the Gala, yeah.
And hell, look, he's just coming out of base now, walking mid, because Rift Herald's about to spawn in just under a minute's time. So you're going to get pushing mid here for RNG. They can then lean in towards that objective as well. And they're not even worried about bot side right now, because the wave isn't even threatening the turret. And even if you do, you can still turn that in towards mid lane immediately with this Rift Herald.
Well, red buff attempt though. Armut gonna be able to start this steal attempt, and Elyoya. There we go, claims it. Good smite, thank you for the red buddy. He did the first part of the work, but I get the credit. Scoreboard goes up 4 for him. Divine Sunder in for the Trundle.
And this is where this is going to become a real test for Mad Lions. One of the biggest problems that they've had is trying to come back from deficits, and 3k gold now behind. Let's see if they can find the pick onto Breathe.
Pillar backwards, but a nice control ward held in inventory. Keeps that one, keeps the Q, able to get away, no problem. Unforgiven, now forced to run away. Ming not close enough with his reinforcements to start that dive. Unforgiven could always cleanse the stun, but you know, that's still a long cooldown to burn out. But second Herald, what we're looking at right now. Eclipse is in for the Graves, the first character to 2 completed items here. Exactly 1 for Elyoya's Trundle. It's gonna be hard to fight around this one. Bit of damage back and forth, but what's it gonna really look like here? Everyone is there, Anchor's not gonna land. Ming can still play frontline, has ulti, has flash, no ignite. We can certainly start these fights out. Now Shelly low on patience. Wall comes across, Gala zoned out, backline access, Nisqy nearly dead, a stopwatch burn now as well. Team fight continues, will anyone die? Elyoya gets out, no! It's gonna be a 1-for-1, Graves claims it, and the dive continues. Breathe is still on for more, he's got a double, he's gonna get the triple, decided way, got to have too much fun. Then maybe he wants some now for himself, the dive is on, turret aggro is there, 5 in a row, Ming finally drops. Oh, Breathe shoved the wrong way, staying just barely alive. Shut down claim, traded back by Aphelios, an ace for RNG.
It looked okay at the start, went a bit sideways at the end, but RNG will still get the ace, will still manage to get this Rift Herald as well, and even Gala getting that shove in on top side. So RNG very much in control at the moment. And look, it starts with this Xiaohu, great flash over the wall, immediately onto Nisqy and Unforgiven. You get Unforgiven to cleanse it, but Gala able to use the Inferno ult over the wall, it's dealing a ton of damage in the back line. And then Breathe just hopping himself in, freeing up these kills on the backside. It was not really a front-to-back fight at any point in time for Mad Lions, because RNG are just so many different routes into the access of the back line.
Yeah, you know that's the game slipping away from you at that point. It was a 2-0 start for Mad Lions in the play-ins, but you know it's like, well, we got ace for 3, they got Herald, they're already up Dragon, like, players know RNG are winning in this game. Is it winnable still for Mad Lions? Of course it is. Yes, you can have a comeback, but this is Mad Lions down in quite the deficit. It's RNG getting more than double their domestic average gold lead at 15. They're up more than normal, and yeah, feeling very good now in this one.
But this is the thing, Mad Lions have been a team that do very well when they get ahead. Like, they're very good at playing from a lead, but when it starts to slip away from them, they haven't been as good at, oh, we'll go for a cross map. Maybe we, you know, drop a lane and play off 2 waves so we can look up for a pick. It's these kind of things that have been missing from Mad Lions play, and that's where it feels very difficult for them right now, especially when RNG just look at the vision control that they have. Like, complete bot side control for them, allows Way to just wander in through the bot lane jungle, or bot side jungle, and now stick down the Rift Herald.
A little bit of damage gained on a turret that is eventually worth 800 gold if you can claim local. At some point, maybe someone will show up for that one as Jax is on his way towards his own Ruin King. Just very happy up the top side. Passive stacked up. Thank you very much. 300 gold goes to him, 200 to the rest of his team. Gold lead grows and grows. 4,500 now for RNG, up 2 Drakes as well.
And I think this is where we're going to start to see the fact that Jax was so prevalent in the meta in LPL, starting to now play a big factor into things like the Aatrox, because it does feel like Jax Twice now we've seen Breathe pick it up, and twice it's been great. Breathe's Fiora also incredibly strong and able to deal well into the Aatrox too, so it feels like RNG have at least kind of found out the conundrum that is Aatrox in the top lane, and that means it opens up so much more flexibility for people that have been struggling, like Gala in that bottom side of the map, getting a bit more of an opportunity for Wade to show what he's worth now on this Graves. It feels like the drafting for RNG, now that they figured out the meta, is a bit better.
Well, a bit of sidestep away from the pullback. Ghost is enough. Still, though, it is Armut forcing out a longer cooldown than what he spent. Ult relatively short. Ghost about 3 minutes. A little something done there. Nice on the side, but there's still so much more to do for Mad Lions as Xiaohu just walks right back to the bottom side and goes, hey, I've got a jungler here. I've got a 5-kill Graves. And turret will indeed drop, and 800 gold will be split amongst RNG.
And again, like, all this vision control is just going to stay planted on the spot side. Ooh, okay, Unforgiven.
Nice ult by Unforgiven, though. Picks a very good spot to go, gets away from everything. Still will lose his own tower, but hang on. We've got reinforcements. Tower stays alive, a flash to safety. And here comes the re-engage. Turret drops crucially, making this fight so much easier for RNG to play. Armut lands Q2, but Ming is tanky. Kaiser coming around. Anchors in, needs a good ult target. It's going to be Gala getting hit, but is he in range of anything? Fling not available for Nisqy, so no one drops except the front line of Mad Lions away. Gets yet another.
Inches turn into a mile there. Mad Lions nearly closed the gap, but RNG just a hair's breadth away. And now RNG will push in this wave. That's mid lane turret down, bot lane tier 2 gone as well. And with Dragon in 2 minutes, there's going to be a big old reset coming through for RNG now with the amount of gold they picked up.
I like the start here. Unforgiven again plays it about well as he can. Cleanse, then ult over the wall is really nice. Gal's like, all right, we can't reach him, so turret goes down.
But Unforgiven's just out of the fight at this point. Like, and then Elyoya already chunked low as well, so it becomes a very difficult fight for them to take. And this flip, if that had connected from Nisqy, that could have been the difference maker, but it doesn't connect onto Ming or Gala. And even here again, look at the damage. Nisqy just barely not able to get on towards Gala. And now with the overextension from Mad Lions, RNG can turn it.
Yeah, if that one lands, right, Ming's dead, the rest fight looks good. If he saves the cooldown, it's killing a Gala. It probably still looks bad when Breathe TP's in, but still, we got another play in the mid lane. Goodbye. Goodbye, he's dead. Auto attack's gonna land away. Is Godlike, collects up a little bit more money, and it's gonna keep on going here. Breathe is on the way over. Kaiser can QE the wall. I guess Q is down. He's gonna Q in actually for a bit more, but I don't know if you win this one. The fling back is not bad. Breathe on the 1k health. Nice little chunk there as well. Good damage out of Nisqy. He can spam that low cooldown, just doesn't matter.
So it's about a bit of time for Armut on this bot side, right? He's going to be looking for that turret play, or turret bounty, but that's why RNG now starting this up. They want to get the TP out, which is committed by Armut.
And they can look at it. They can see, all right, 4v5, we're going to go for broke. No AD carry, dive comes on in. They just want the team fight in the first place. Xiaohu, chunked down low, one hit to dead, and Elyoya bites him. Traded, though, mid laner for mid laner, but crucially, in an over-engaged fight, outnumbered fight, Mad Lions get the 1-for-1.
Yeah, I mean, they had to commit the TP. Unforgiven wasn't there as well. He was just coming out of base, so you'll take that as Mad Lions, but now it means that you've invested, you know, a little bit of it there from Mad Lions and also on RNG side with Dragon in 30 seconds. Mad Lions need to get control over this mid lane, move in towards River, try to look for RNG as they're coming in, but you'll see it here, right? As Armut comes in, he's got a great position where Gala and Xiaohu are both right at his whim. Gala tries to get force forward with the ultimate, but ends up whiffing on that one, so doesn't actually get a huge amount of damage off. So it means that Mad Lions are able to dissuade them. But 10 seconds now, RNG in bot side River. Armut had pushed out top wave, but no TP for him because it was just used. Means he's going to be late to the Dragon.
And they're going to start putting it fast on the way towards Infernal Soul here. RNG going to grab their third pretty quickly. Yeah, no one is around. They were the faster ones to reset off that fight. Got back around, obviously with the gold lead as well. You just kind of bully your way in if you believe you have the numbers, and indeed they were right. So, we got a 5-minute timer until Dragon Soul comes in.
And that might have been the time for Mad Lions. Xiaohu had no ultimate, Gala no ultimate, you know, Gale Force as well, no flash. That felt like it might have been the Dragon where they could have tried to find a fight, but now RNG get to push outside lanes once more. They're moving in as a group to reset on towards Vision, so just a bit of a missed opportunity there for Mad Lions to maybe find an avenue back into this game.
Now they can hope. Armut, at least it's a CS lead, you know? Impact, he had 9, this guy's got 46, so at least well done here for the Aatrox. Cyril's Grudge is in, finally onto items himself, so temporarily, same item spikes, and up 2 full levels onto Breathe. Armut If there's a way back in, it seems like it's going to be on this Aatrox. Grievous Wounds nowhere in the build for RNG. If he can frontline and be huge, maybe it's enough. Over the wall goes Elyoya and tracks Ming. Ults for stats. This could be really good, but Aatrox, is he able to even fight it? Unforgiven puts in the damage. Ming's W finally got a timeout! But look at that! The marksman ults come through. Gala is good for it. Unforgiven is down.
Protect the support is not what we usually see, but saving Captain Ming there. Now RNG will move over towards the objective, and RNG, if they, well, I was gonna say if they get the Baron, they should be good, but MAD looking in a spot to contest.
Health bar's a bit low. Breathe over the wall, and we're gonna have Nisqy separate them. Jax can't join. It's a 4-on-4. They need this one. Wei shoved in the pit. Baron will hit him. Wei smites for health. Breathe comes in. They gotta peel Nisqy, but there's no way he's gonna live. Galio there for a bit more help, and they do trade back Ming, but Kaiser still drops a double kill again for Breathe on the Jax. You may have taken more side lane farm, but Breathe has taken more of the champions. That said, Armut gets his own double. A pretty close one right now, I believe, overall 2 for 2.
Yeah, RNG still trying to fight back, but Mad Lions have life in them, keeping RNG away from the Baron and living to fight another day. I mean, look, it's not exactly the best of trades, but Mad Lions, you'll definitely take that with the way it went.
I mean, you are so far behind, you have objective bounties. A 2 for 2 is probably just XP positive for you.
And here, I mean, Ming definitely overextending on towards Elyoya, especially with the blast cone there. Thought he might have been able to burst him out, but CC isn't coming through, and Ming barely getting through. You see Breathe engages onto Armut to make sure Ming has space to get out. Gala with the Gale Force and the Infernum ult finds home as well. And everyone on Mad Lions is then running for the hill, but this again, a bit of an overextension here from RNG, kind of disrespectful. Nisqy has a great wall to separate out Breathe. You end up with Armut being able to tank front line. Wei goes super low thanks to Baron. He's forced to flash early, and honestly, kind of the only saving grace here was Breathe eventually getting past the wall, because otherwise, Nisqy was in a prime spot to deal that damage as the Taliyah.
And the cleanup there, actually pretty good there as well. So, I mean, it looks really nice, but Armut is actually huge. Again, he had a 2-level lead and 50 CS. And you look at the scorelines now, and they're basically tied, right? So Armut is 3-1-3 versus 6-2-0 on the Jax. So functionally, they've both had really huge games, and considering how many more kills RNG has, it means it's just been Armut this game.
Yeah, and you can see the difference in the two coaches. Kasamlak looking significantly happier than the RNG side. And I think as well, like for the RNG coaching staff, there is a lot of pressure. Actually, hold on to this, because Mad Lions is trying to set up minute and a half to Dragon, but no, they would just back away. There's a lot of pressure on the RNG coaching staff. Like Kenju, who won Worlds with EDG last year, was actually the guy who had the Golden Road, where he won Summer with EDG, then Worlds, then Spring with RNG, and now MSI. So there's a lot of pressure on this guy to perform, and I mean, for RNG, coming in as 4th seed is not exactly how he would have liked to start off his crusade into Worlds.
Oh, 700 TP required. I don't believe they can land a stun in time, even if they had vision. Indeed, he gets out, and with the red trinket, they're like, I think he TP'd. I think he couldn't have gotten out without TP, so they can maybe mark that one. They're right if they think that. And the wave gets claimed. 6,000 remains the difference.
And again, 50 seconds until Inferno Dragon, right? Like, we've seen them consistently get the TPs out of Armut as these big objectives are spawning. So now, Mad Lions, again, have to try and contest the mid push, but without really much vision control down on this bottom side, they're moving in as a 5-man unit to try and get some information as to what RNG are brewing.
Little damage there towards Elyoya. 2k health still, and he always is going to be happy to ult Leona and be a frontline. Not quite to the dead man's plate, would like it. 15 seconds until Infernal Soul. And RNG have the mid push. They're the first to the bottom river. Jax waiting in the bottom tri-brush. Looking at what could be a flank play, whether to mark one or get his own. They're ready to play it. Xiaohu waiting in the wings. You can see in Fog of War, ready to ult when someone else does something. That trinket spots both brushes, says no one's in either one. Fair enough. Dragon started 8k health. Here's the flank play. Flash to get the safety. Unforgiven stays alive. And here comes the team fight. A stopwatch buys time. Double stun for Ming. Is it enough now? Can the front line live? Xiaohu gets out. A pull back at Armut, a big heal, a flash of safety. Wei getting kited, has to flash away, but the re-engage. Breathe is just too big on the Jax. No one can answer him. And with the opposing support dead, Kaiser in the respawn. Well, wall does something. Gala cannot jump this wall. They get a pull back on a Ming, decent damage, but Wei and Xiaohu are knocking down the dragon. Soul is claimed, the Mad Lions, with basically negative vision, but they had the team cut off, could not find the way back in. RNG get a 1-for-0 to get the Dragon Soul.
Breathe has been doing such a good job of zoning Armut out of these fights where he's just not been able to get into the position that he actually should be able to carry from. And here, good flash from Xiaohu, but does end up overextended. But keep your eyes on Armut. Armut actually has access to Gala and everything here, but you end up with the Graviton coming through, then Breathe gets the counter-strike, and Armut immediately has to get out of here. So it's been a good job from RNG in consistently keeping Armut at arm's length, knowing that Unforgiven was low, Nisqy's not really in a position to carry, and they're able to take out Armut, who is that big threat on MAD Lions.
Smiles from Armut, yeah, I lived there. I did Aatrox things and landed Q3 and got a bunch of health back, but this is now RNG with a much larger lead, 4-0 in Dragons. The burst going to be pretty painful. This Graze is even more of a threat. 7 kills each on the top side of the map for RNG. This Jax counter has been good, and yeah, the air is good too, but he has still just been such a difference maker here on this Jax for Breathe.
But again, this is what we talked about for RNG coming into this. This is more the meta that I think they want to try and play, or at least the style that they want to play with. Xiaohu being able to provide engage tool alongside Ming, playing that facilitator role. Wei kind of being a benefactor of all the good stuff that Xiaohu's doing. Gala just late game carry. He doesn't have to put pressure on himself in team fights. He's been very proficient on these short range AD carries like the Aphelios, the Kaisas, these kind of things. So it definitely feels like after yesterday's beating, RNG coming back strong. But for MAD Lions, kind of heartbreaking to see after a 2-0 up. And Quickshot definitely celebrating that at the start of the day.
Sure.
Looks like they might struggle here against RNG.
Well, LSU played against the easier teams the first 2 days. I know EG's part of that. And we move on forward. No, I know what I'm saying. Don't worry about it. We got a team fight coming in soon, though. The wall is up. Ming dives in, and Ming does not get out. But a triple knockup for Xiaohu means that MAD Lions may not either. Wei's pulled back in. And again, it's all about Armut. But a triple kill through for Gala. The Aphelios has scaled, and MAD Lions will fall.
You've always got to be so careful of Gala in these late game fights. Just when you think you might be able to turn it, he will pop off. But RNG now, Baron in tow, will push in on the top side. A triple kill for Gala, and RNG looking primed to take this game.
Down goes the turret. The gold lead grows, 8,500. Dragon Soul again. But they can reset here. Looks like Baron is enough to take the recalls. MAD Lions come back in. Mad fight after Baron is down with the wall.
The Penta Prince won't get another one this game, but at least for the moment. But again, a great fight here. Wei able to get on towards Armut again, getting the damage over the top with the collateral damage. But Xiaohu gets the knock up thanks to Ming's engage. And Wei, even though he's not in the best of positions here, it does actually give a lot of time for Gala to get access towards Unforgiven, pushing Armut away. And just having Xiaohu acting as that bruiser front line that Gala needed, he's able to push on forward. I'm not gonna lie, this is the most reaction that I've seen from RNG in the last year and a half.
But he's like, yeah, that was fun. I will say, there are few things as satisfying as getting a Galio ult on 4 people. Yeah. I count the stopwatch as you would have hit him, so you had to burn it. And yeah, we're winning that fight. And he was right. He's obviously quite big here. Blue Elixir now grabbed here for Xiaohu as well. Gala up to level 16. On his way towards maybe just a Guardian Angel. Either way, stopwatch in inventory.
At this stage, it becomes very tough for MAD Lions to try to defend Xiaohu.
Yeah, that's danger. Armut just not able to heal enough. Wei takes him down. So much damage between the jungle and mid of RNG. And that is kind of the ace of the hole gone. Armut not being there. No longer is your front line durable enough. Yes, there's a Trundle and Auto's not going to matter. They're going to walk in and start taking your base. Mid already gone. Bot opened up. Bot gone now as well, and guess what? There's already a wave top lane. RNG get all 3 inhibitors in the span of 15 seconds. Xiaohu maybe a bit too far, and he will Zonia's at 1 HP. This is going to be a mid laner down, but still, both teams -1 solo lane is still a fight that RNG can feel good about. That is a stun and an Unforgiven. He ults to safety. A stopwatch buys a bit more time. Here's the dive at a Ming. Nisqy going to stay alive for a second longer. Kaiser forced back to the base. Nisqy goes down. Just barely does Elyoya live, but the Nexus turrets will fall. MAD Lions fought valiantly. Armut has a 26th champion. The Nexus falls. RNG wins, and they're up 1-1.
That is the RNG that we expected to see coming into Worlds. That was the RNG that people were terrified of, and unfortunate for MAD Lions that they were the first that had to really face up against it. RNG bouncing back from their loss yesterday to DRX and looking very clean doing it.
Well, 2-1 for MAD Lions. If you beat DRX, you are careening toward what looks like a three-way tie at first, right? We assume RNG wins out. Honestly, if you can do this as Mad Lions, you can still take that spot for first. That is the road they're looking for. Otherwise, how good do you look against DRX, right? Are you third? Are you above that? Are you below that? We're gonna have to see. As long as you're top 4, you are alive, you're playing best of 5s. RNG looking like, okay, well, 2 hardest teams done. Cross it off our hands, move to second, you know, the likely road, but we'll have to see, of course, down the line.
But yeah, again, I think